People's Internet Radio. Going to have my producer check. We're running so much equipment here. Going to have my producer check to get a thumbs up from Lorraine or somebody over there to make sure that we're streaming. We're running through so much equipment here. It's kind of scary, like a roller coaster ride, getting all of this stuff up and running over the last few weeks. It's been crazy. Thanks to Vin and Stephen Roberts for all of their help in keeping us up and running, and to work with us over the year building this 24-hour station, which we're so proud of, Alternative Public Radio International. That's APRI, Alternative Public Radio International. We have been working day and night, 18 hours a day in the studio, trying to build a radio station. And I'll tell you, I know what PI's gone through. I know what Ben's gone through, Lorraine, everybody over there. I know the difficulties in putting something like this together, but I tell you what, our numbers are off the chart. I want to say thank you again for allowing me to be back on People's Internet Radio. Yeah, it's just been crazy here in America. It's been crazy in the newsroom. So many things are happening here that are probably completely foreign to you all, unless you're looking at the mainstream media, which I hope you're not. You know, we're still looking at Fukushima problems here. I mean, we're still seeing all kinds of fallout, high radiation levels. We're seeing beached whales, beached dolphins, beached sharks, dead birds. We're seeing dead jellyfish in the thousands. In the thousands coming up on the beaches all up and down the West Coast here. And obviously it's got to be from radiation, from HAARP, from CERN, from DARPA, from weather modification, and all of these other things that are going on around the world. It's got to be from that. I mean, there's absolutely nothing else that it could be from. Our seas are so toxic here, it's unbelievable. The Mediterranean Sea is turned into a trash bin. I got some video the other day from some diver friends of mine who brought me back some of the most horrific film that I've ever seen of trash and debris and old tires and all kinds of stuff that's been dumped off of military ships and commercial cruisers and sport yachts, all kinds of things. And we're trashed. We're literally trashed here. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's beyond imagination, and nobody's talking about it. I mean, very few people are talking about it, if we can say that. When I was on PI last year, I was more of a generalizer than I am now. I'm more specific now to what's really going on. And this is really going on, and it just scares the hell out of us. It really does. I'm trying to look at my, oh, there we go, loud and clear. Thank goodness for that. You know, I don't know how much news y'all are getting over there, but it's not good. America is not free. California recently made it mandatory for children to take the vaccines. Any and all vaccines that are manufactured by Big Pharma. This practice is spreading throughout the United States of America. It's coming to a town near you folks here in America. It's coming to a town near you folks in Ireland. This is a worldwide movement that Mr. Bill Gates is funding. And as I've been reading and studying, I've been looking at all of these different things, all of these different laws that are being written by the United Nations, all of these people that are coming together, coming up with these great ideas. Well, the parents are protesting here in droves. They're coming out in droves to protest. Some very radical protests, some very passive protests, but nonetheless protest. And I think they should protest. I've talked to several pharmacists this morning who said they believe that everyone should be put in jail if they do not take the vaccine, allow their children to take the vaccine. Their children would be removed from school here. The parents would be fined or possibly jailed. And I think this is ridiculous all the way around. Call me crazy if you want to, but I don't think the government should be able to tell us, to vaccinate our children. I just simply do not think they should be able to force people at gunpoint, literally at checkpoints, to have these vaccinations. Now they're moving toward a law here to have the adults vaccinated by force. So where are we going with this? Where are we headed with this? Talk about lack of sovereignty, talk about a lack of freedom, talk about a lack of liberty. It is definitely here in America. Our children obviously do not understand all of these facts and variables. Many of the adults do not understand the facts behind these different issues that we talk about as adults, adults that study, adults that research, adults that have an education and understand these highly complex issues. So obviously the children just go along with the game. And of course, many of the adults here in America, 95% of them, I'm going to go ahead and generalize and say that they're clueless. They're dumb as a box of rocks when it comes to these very, very complex issues. They're not up to date. They're not up to speed. They haven't done their research because they don't have time to. They're too busy trying to pay the rent, the electric bill, the water bill, the gas bill, the trash bill, the insurance bill, the mortgage, the car payment, et cetera, and the credit cards and the gas, fuel for the vehicle, credit card bill, and it just goes on and on and on, and then you have the government taking out over half of your paycheck. If you make $1,000 a month, you might end up with 600 of it. You might not, And I think this is ridiculous, but that's another tax issue. That's a whole new show. I'm not going to get stuck on the we don't pay taxes issue tonight. Actually, today for us, tonight for you all. I want to thank those of you again who stayed up late to listen to Kiler Davenport. Yeah, I'm on the chat, by the way, Lorraine. I can see the chat. I've got a producer on it. We've got 2 producers here tonight and a couple of interns and 5 computers running, and we're shooting this thing out to God knows where. Getting to this point was, for me, I just had to walk out and leave them and say, you take it, man. This is too much for me. I've got an education, but when I saw all these buttons and levers being pushed and pulled and yanked, and I said, I'm out of here, man. I can't deal with this. I'm good to get a good EQ or something on bass and treble and turn the microphone on and go on air. I said, I'm a talk show host. I'm not an audio engineer, so you guys handle it. So between Vin and Steven and a few other people, we got it hooked up and got it going here. A lot of problems here in California with the water, of course. We're having a major drought down south California. Major drought. I mean, literally water wars that's not even being publicized in the mainstream media. People are having water wars. People are killing each other over water, murdering each other, raping each other, maiming each other, burning people's houses down, burning their farms down. The little farms have gotten the water taken away from them. The water's been diverted to all of the major agricultural centers and major farms. And so the little farmer has been knocked out. And this is coming up the West Coast, all the way up in Oregon and Washington. They're putting people in jail here for capturing rainwater off of your house or off of your yard. They're ticketing people, threatening to take their homes for having gardens in their front yard. Yes, folks, all of these things are happening. I mean, I know it sounds like science fiction. I know it sounds completely crazy, but it's happening. It's happening, and it's scary as hell. I'm sure you all have been hearing a little bit about Jade Helm and all of the military equipment that has been traveling through the United States on every major byway and highway and alleyway. We've got convoy after convoy after convoy of heavy military equipment, weapons, materials, and supplies going God knows where. They seem to come and they seem to vanish. in thin air. You know, they'll go around these mountains and they'll get to a point up in the west, northwest, where they can't be seen anymore, and they're gone. It's almost like they go into a mountain. I had a couple of producers following a convoy, military convoy on the highway coming up the west coast, and they literally turned off and vanished. They were gone, as if they had went inside a mountain or something. And this, again, is not fiction. This is fact. This actually happened. And we're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of convoys. We're talking about thousands of pieces of equipment on railway here in America, part of Jade Helm. And of course, Jade Helm 2 is even more scary, tracking, tracing, profiling all of our citizens here in the United States, all of our people, if you will, here in the United States, including our children, knowing our every move that we make via our cell phone, our computer, our laptop, any electronic gadget, our television, our smartphones, whatever you may possess. The government is tracking you, tracing you, profiling you. All of your information, metadata, real data, etc., is being uploaded, downloaded, sideloaded, and overloaded into a major cloud computer, central computing mechanism that's literally running the world, not just here, but in Ireland, in Africa, in Australia, in Canada, Russia, Germany, North Korea, South Korea, you name it, it's there. It's a global net. It's not just in the United States anymore that I'm concerned about. It's a worldwide computer program. Jade 2 is in operation, has been in full swing for many, many years now. So lots of stuff going on here that's very scary. Some of it seems like science fiction, but it's not. We're also having a major problem here. I'm trying to catch you all up on what's kind of going on in my life and around my life here. You know that we're advocates, I guess. Many of you know that we're critical outreach people. We work with the homeless over 60. We work with the abused senior citizens. We have a specialized, very specialized undercover team that goes out and reports and investigates senior citizens who are being abused in Medicaid homes here in the Northwest. We have a team that works in the South also, a very effective, small but effective team. We've put several people in jail for abusing senior citizens. We also are very busy on the mental health boards here in the Northwest, sitting there at the boards as advisors, as consultants, as consumers, mental health consumers, which we are. We have a problem here with our psychiatrist labeling everyone delusional that participates in alternative radio, such as PI, such as Alternative Public Radio International. You guys are delusional. If you didn't know that, then you better talk to your psychiatrist. They're labeling everyone delusional now who listens to alternative radio, and especially those who believe in chemtrails or that vaccines might be dangerous for your children, or anyone who talks about Jade Helm or DARPA or HARP or CERN, the Hadron Collider, particle physics, quantum mechanics, anything to do with weather modification or mind control or MK Ultra. You're considered severely delusional. Those things I just went over would make you severely delusional here in the United States. I don't know what's going on in Ireland with that, but it's definitely come to the point where you cannot talk to your psychiatrist at all about anything concerning alternative ways of thinking. So you have to even be careful when you go to the emergency room here in the U.S. You have to be careful when you take your children to the emergency room here in the U.S. because of CPS always standing by to put everyone in jail and take their kids away from them. So yeah, lots of bad stuff going on here. Sorry to be the doomsday prophet tonight, but that's just the way it is. I just wanted to catch everybody up on what's going on in America. And yes, our police departments are getting more brutal by the minute, by the second. Our police departments are becoming fully militarized. They're actually being supplied with military equipment and weapons from the military here. The police are becoming terribly brutal, terribly nasty, terribly violent. We have so much police brutality here in the U.S. It's inconceivable. It's unbelievable what the police are doing to people, pregnant women, the mentally retarded, pregnant women, disabled men in a wheelchair, dumping them out of their wheelchair, tasering them and kicking them in the head. I've got so many videos and so many eyewitness accounts, and we've worked so many cases. It's unbelievable. But many of you know or may remember that I'm an former emergency medical technician, advanced cardiac life support paramedic with a specialty in search and rescue, forensic science, dead body pickup. I grew up in the funeral business, embalming bodies, doing autopsies, worked my share of forensic science and emergency medicine. So I do have a background, and I was also a former consultant to one of the largest news organizations in the world and worked undercover 2.5 years as an undercover operative to take down some of the larger corporations who were earning a lot of money on our old folks and robbing and defrauding our Medicare, Medicaid system. You know, we here in the United States are not as educated on the tax situation that that you all are talking about there in my chat. You have to understand we're in two separate worlds, two very separate worlds, and then you have to break that down into a microcosm of you and me. We are here, two of us talking on air, one looking at a message on Skype and the other talking on air to our fans out there. So it's very limited in scope. It's all based on perspective. It's all based on experience. You know, we all have different experiences. We all have different perspectives, and we all come from a different place in time and space. Let me read this here real quick with my terrible dollar store glasses. We have asked, someone in chat wanted to know who the body is, the overseers for these people who are being abused. We have a very, very poorly run system here when it comes to oversight, and that's not just with the senior citizens, but that's also with the Department of Health and Human Services, with the Department of Aging. All of these departments are overworked and underpaid. They have very few benefits. They work many, many, many hours, and they have caseloads that are incomprehensible to the human imagination. So you might have one person working 600 different cases with one assistant, and stuff just doesn't get done. And the nursing homes here like to cover up their doo-doo. They like to cover up, you know, stuff that's going on. They've been doing that for years. I've been an advocate for probably 25 years, working on the front line out there in the field, advocating for seniors and the mentally ill. And we've been seeing this for 25, 26, 28, whatever years that I've been in. We've been seeing this kind of abuse get worse and worse. Yeah, the laws change. Yes, there's some good things that happen. Yes, there are many advocates out there, many ombudsmen out there. But basically, the Department of Aging just doesn't have the agents. They don't have the personnel to go out and take care of the hundreds of thousands of people that are being hurt, that are being defrauded, that are being abused, that are being neglected. And the lobby group for the facilities, for the nursing homes, is powerful in Washington, D.C. So they've built a big wall where investigators have trouble getting in. That's why I had to go undercover when I did in the 90s. I was a hardcore undercover operative with a great team in the 90s. We had to lie our way in. We had to manipulate. We had to coerce. We had to bribe. We had to do everything in the world to get witnesses. Found people dead in the bed, tied up. I found people in broom closets with their face shoved into the wall when the state investigators were coming out. I mean, we saw some horrific sights. And this is going on as we speak right now here on the air. It's going on everywhere. It's going on everywhere. It's going on in Ireland. I mean, if there's human beings in a facility, you're going to have a problem. So it's going on everywhere. The Philippines, Pakistan, Canada, Australia. Anywhere you've got old people, you've got problems. Anywhere you've got Medicare or Medicaid or old age assistance, you've got problems. Anywhere you've got people, you're going to have problems. So, yeah, what, producer? No. But yeah, it just gets worse and worse. And then you've got the foster care system here turning out over 1,000 kids into the street to be homeless. Who's running that system? You've got foster care systems here that are underfunded, understaffed. So you've got, we had 1,500 kids last year turned out into the streets without housing, without food stamps, without any way to protect themselves, without any education or training. We just had them dumped out at a certain point. It's kind of like back in World War II when they dumped all the mental patients here in the U.S. out into the streets and they were walking around like zombies and there was nowhere to put them, We started figuring out psychotropic drugs, and then we started drugging them up and throwing them out on the streets and experimenting with them. And so it's just getting worse. It's not getting any better. Our psychiatrists here are pushing pills like candy machines. There's a pill for everything here in the U.S., I don't know about Ireland, but there's a pill for everything that you could possibly think of. You can go get a pill for it. And they want you to get a pill for it because they want to fund Big Pharma. Big Pharma would like to supply the world with pills. Have y'all got pills over there in Ireland yet? Are your psychiatrist begging you to come in with a disease or a problem or maybe a twitchy eye or a twitchy elbow or a twitchy toe, and they'll give you a twitchy toe pill or a twitchy elbow pill? I mean, it's ridiculous. Literally ridiculous. I have a friend here who takes 12, 15 drugs. I've got another one who takes 24 pills a day. He's walking around like a zombie. I've got a girlfriend here, a friend who's a girl here that shakes like a leaf because she's taking lithium, and she's shaking so hard she can't even pick her nose. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's scary. And we're turning people into zombies here. People are walking around like deadheads, empty-headed. It shows everywhere we go. We interview people out in the streets here. Obviously, we're journalists. Obviously, we're reporters. Obviously, we're producers. So we talk to a lot of people. We interview a lot of people. And they don't know beans about anything. They don't know who's in Congress, who's in the House of Representatives. They don't know how many representatives we have. They don't know who's the vice president. They don't understand the electoral process, which I don't give a damn about. I don't care about the electoral process. I don't care about elections. I don't care about government. I don't care about this crooked state. The Keystone Cops and the Three Stooges are running this thing here. No, they're very brilliant, actually. We have some very brilliant people in the cabal. We have some geniuses, diabolical geniuses in the cabal, and they don't give a hoot about the common man, woman, or child. All they care about is themselves. And dadgummit, it shows, It shows at every turn. We've got so many people on welfare in the United States, it's unfathomable. So many people on housing here, and so many mothers without fathers, and so many kids without fathers here in the U.S. It's staggering. The numbers are staggering. It's unbelievable. But we don't hear that in the mainstream news. We just don't really hear about it in the mainstream news. You know, they don't want to make the government look bad. You know, the mainstream media hardly ever wants to make the government look bad. They always want to give them an out. And of course, another funny thing is they never really tell the people the truth. They never really want to talk about alternative news. You know, I care about people. I care about education. I care about self-empowerment. I care about advocacy. And I care about working for the underdog as we do here in the community where we've built so many community gardens. I care about advocating for the mentally ill, where I'm a patient for PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, from all of my dead body days, all of my homicide days, working with so many plane crashes, worked 2 major plane crashes. I've picked up my share of bodies and put them in body bags and cut my share of brains out, you know, in the morgue. I worked with kids and held so many dead babies in my hands. So I care about those with PTSD. I care about those who have been through these traumatic situations like I have. I care about bringing them back to some normalcy. I care about our senior citizens most of all, who are without a voice once they're thrown into these state homes. Their family leaves them and they're left to the dogs to fry like French fries. I know many of our patients have to sit on the pot for an hour and end up falling off on the floor without even being wiped. That's abuse. I know patients that lay in the same bed without it being changed for a week, and they get decubitus the size you could stick your fist in. That's abuse. I found patients in roaches and red ants crawling all over their body. That's abuse. These are all real stories. So I care about educating the public about getting out there and advocating for the senior citizens that cannot speak for themselves. That's what I'm really all about, that and what I just said. I care about the children with these dumb, clueless, lame-brained parents who have not a clue where they are, where they've been, or where they're going. The parents that believe in the mainstream media, parents that are just going along with the current paradigm. Whatever happens, happens. Parents that believe in our current democracy, if you want to call it that, this pseudo democracy, this BS democracy that we're supposed to be living in, which is a crock of shit. It's not a democracy at all. It's a theocracy. It's a cabal. It's a syndicate. It's a global syndicate's what it is. It's a global syndicate. And that's another show to detail that. And on another show, I think next week, I would like to detail Jade 2. Talk about Jade Helm, and I would like to go into detail with some meetings that I've been in that were very clandestine over the last 6 to 10 weeks with some former CIA agents, and talk about Jade 2 and what that means to the country, what that means to the people, and what that means to the children and the grandchildren who are coming up in this hell we call existence and consciousness. I also care about education in the fact that I wish people would study more. I wish people had time to study more. People here in the United States don't have time to study because they're a part of the machine. They're a part of the enslavement program. They've been programmed and indoctrinated into this machine, this matrix, and they're stuck on dumb, and they can't get out of it. They can't seem to pull out of it. You've got to knock them on the head with a rubber mallet to get them to listen to another perspective, another idea, another concept. So it's very difficult to shake people out of their stupidity, if you will. It's very difficult to shake people out of that. And people do not realize that it is them that needs to speak. It is them that need to make the decisions. It is them that need to educate themselves and train themselves up where they can become sovereign people, where they can take care of themselves, and where they can make their own decisions without having any kind of pseudo government there lording over them. And the problem here in the U.S., speaking from experience, is that people have turned their lives over to some invisible Oz, some machine, some matrix. And they believe in the democratic process. They believe in the Republican process. They believe in elections, which we all know are fictitious, which we all know are rigged. Those of us who have done the work, done the studies, done the research, we know that the cabal places these people wherever they want to place them, when they want to place them, how they want to place them, and as long as they want to place them. So this is what we're facing here in America as far as an alternative radio station, whether it be People's Internet or whether it be Alternative Public Radio International, is to be able to glean an audience, gain an audience, gather an audience that's not just there because they love what we're talking about, but because they want to know more about what we're talking about, and they respect us as talk show hosts to have the knowledge and the wisdom and the experience and the background to be able to talk about these issues. I wouldn't want to listen to some dummy. I wouldn't want to listen to some fat cat that just got on the air and started spewing a bunch of stuff, who had worked at 7-Eleven for a couple of years or was a shoe salesman somewhere and just all of a sudden had been watching a lot of TV and collected Batman cartoons, who wanted to talk about the New World Order. I wouldn't want to listen to them. It would be stupid. I want to talk to somebody. I want to listen to somebody. I want to be able to trust someone to give me their experience. And I want to be able to talk to someone that can answer the questions that I'm presenting to them, if I in fact do present a question to them. And if they're not smart enough to answer the question, I want them to be man enough or woman enough to say, I'll go get the information and we'll work on it together and we will find the answer. We will find the answer together. The problem is today, people are so preoccupied with nothing that there's just nothing there. Most everyone here in America is chasing their tail around and around and around and around like a little dog, and they're having one baby after the other that won't be paid for except by the people in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or some government handout, which the government obviously is going to take that money from the people through our taxes that we pay here in the U.S., and people are looked at like human ATM machines. And as a matter of fact, that's all they are here in America, is human ATM machines. We all know birth certificates are traded on the main market there in Wall Street. We all know that every human being is a public entity, a chattel, to be traded on the markets of the world, which should be a crime against humanity. You would have thought by now that people would have stood up and said, hell no, enough is enough, and we're not going to take it anymore. We're just simply not going to take it anymore. You would have thought by now that we would have had a revolution, like Stephen Roberts said on our show last night on APRI, that many of the hosts are calling for a revolution. Many of the producers are calling for revolution. There's even some mainstream talk of revolution. If not advocating for it, thinking about it, wondering why it hasn't happened yet because of all of the atrocities that are going on here in the United States and around the world. The United States reaches out and touches somebody, you can dang well believe that that somebody's going to be poisoned. When the United States is on the move, here comes another war, here comes another civil war, here comes another water war, here comes another gold or whatever war, oil war. Bingo, bango, the United States wants to take over the world. They want to take over Ireland. They want to take over Australia. They want to take over Korea. They want to take over Russia. They want to take over Canada. They want to take over everything. This is why we have this TPP, you know, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And if you haven't looked at that, along with Agenda 21 and Codex Alimentarius, you better get to work. you better get to work, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. You better look at the Trans-Pacific Partnership, along with Agenda 21, CODIS Alimentarius, HARP, DARPA, CERN, weather modification, mind control, et cetera, nanotechnology, quantum computing, the list goes on. Educate yourselves, folks. And I'm talking to folks here in America, so don't think I'm picking on you, Ireland. We're talking to people all over the world. My show we're simulcasting on now is in so many countries I couldn't name them here without spending an hour. Yes, we are. I can send you the numbers. I mean, our show reaches out to I don't know how many countries. It's unbelievable. I looked at the numbers yesterday and I said, I just can't believe this. I'm overwhelmed. I'm happy. Obviously, if there was 2 or 3 people listening to me, I would just quit. I'd just give up the microphone and say, this is silly. This is stupid. If I'm talking to a Cheers bar, I can go down to the bar and sing karaoke and do that. If I'm talking to a bunch of buddies and pals, I don't want to do that. I want to talk to the world. And that's why I came on PI, because I think we are talking to the world as we do at Alternative Public Radio International. I don't think we have a Cheers bar here. I hope not. And I hope we don't get stuck on the same old dumb subjects all the time. I hope we diversify. That's what I'm telling all the producers. Many who want to start their own radio stations come to us for consultation now. And I tell them, be diverse, be diverse, be diverse. Don't get stuck on one stupid subject. Unless you just want a Cheers bar, might as well get a karaoke band while you're at it. You need to talk about quantum physics. You need to talk about quantum mechanics. You need to talk about sociology. You need to talk about these different organizations that run the world. The Bilderberg Corp, the Trilateral Commission, the Council of Rome, the Vatican, big corporations. You need to be educated on these subjects. You need to be able to tie all of this different information together if you're talking to a worldwide audience, and you need to understand something about international affairs or get out of the radio business. That's my take on it. I mean, just get out of the radio business. Unless you're just running a community channel like there in Australia with a person we all know pretty well that I'm not going to mention any names, but if you're gonna just run a one subject deal, and you're really not interested in radio, and you're really not interested in ratings, and you're really not interested in fans and followers, then just get out of the business. Just quit. Why even go on the air and waste your time? If you're not going to have 1 million people listening to you, if that's not your goal, our goal is to have about 2,500,000 people in the audience by September of next year, and that's not hard to do. I mean, we're already in every country in the world. Some countries, I couldn't even pronounce their name last night when I saw it on analytics. And we're actually streaming to those people right now. Hello, Pakistan. Hello, Australia. Hello, Canada. Hello, Ireland. Hello, Indonesia. Hello, Russia. Hello, Egypt. Hello, Jordan, Turkey. New York. Oh, my God. New York is like topping the charts right now. Unbelievable. New York. What the heck did we do to deserve that? I don't know. I don't even like New York. And they just keep coming. I don't even like New Yorkers. I tell them to go back to New York when they get here in the Northwest. I show them the highway, and they can't get enough of this. They just keep calling and calling and calling. It's like they're stalking me. But we love it. We love our New Yorkers. We love our New Yorkers. We love all people. We love everybody as long as they're trying to do something, in the community and not just talking. That's one thing I know about PI is that you all do something for your neighbors. You do something in the community. You don't just sit back on your arse and talk about it here on radio. And I don't want to be on a station that just talks and talks and talks. I was on one last week and they just talk and talk and talk, and I'm not on that station anymore. Because their ego was so overblown that it was bigger than New York. Their ego was gigantico. The person running this operation's ego was so gigantic, it was just unbelievable. And my ego's big enough, so the two of us just didn't get along, didn't G-haul, as Grandma used to say. We just didn't G-haul with each other, G-haul. But we're having a heat wave here, folks. 100 degrees. My gosh, it's burning up here, Irelanders. I don't know what's going on with y'all, but man, it is hot here. It is so hot. It is unbelievable. And we're not supposed to be this hot in Oregon, Washington, here on the West Coast, beautiful Pacific Ocean. It's supposed to be about 72 degrees right now, and it's over 100, I think. At least it feels like it's over 100. And there's no birds, there's no bees, there's no apples, there's no trees. I don't know what's going on with the wildlife here. It's all gone. The bumblebees are gone. The honeybees are gone. The birds. We went out last night and looked around in the evening, and there was one lonely bat flying overhead. One lonely bat was flying overhead. And I said, something is going on here, and I'm not going to tell the psychiatrist about it, or they will call me delusional and give me another 5 pills to take. You tell your psychiatrist, there's no wildlife here. It's all gone. There's no birds. There's no bees. Well, they're going to take you away in a funny truck. They're going to lock you up. They're going to chain you up, man. They're going to put a straitjacket on you and say, come on, take the shot now. It's okay, Kiler. Come on now, take the shot. Relax. It's okay. But there's no birds. There's no bees. There's nothing but dead fish. This dead fish all up and down the coast here. I don't know. Have y'all looked at the internet lately? Have you looked at some of the good source pictures? There's dead fish everywhere. Dead whales, dead porpoises, dead dolphins. There's whales trying to jump out of the water. It's unbelievable. It's like they're running from something. It's like they're running from something. What is it? Fukushima. That's what the hell they're running from, is Fukushima. They're running from radiation. I'm so glad to be back on PI. I'm a little excited tonight, but Kiler, that's what I do. You got to love me. I mean, you got to love me. You got to hate me. You got to love to hate me. Whatever. I love y'all. I love PI. I love Vin. I love Lorraine. I love all of you over there at PI. And I'm a little horsey. I'm a little hard to get along with, but I know that some of you guys and girls are too. Yeah, I do. But if we all just can try to get along and hug each other, have a campfire, sing Kumbaya, realize that we've all got the same blood, the same bone, whatever, however corny that sounds. But we do. When it all boils down to it, we're all together. If we was all in a foxhole together, we'd love each other to death. If people were throwing bombs at us, we'd all say, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you. Are we going to get out of this alive? When I don't get out, if we get out of this alive, I'm gonna hate you again. But right now, I love you so much. We're gonna die. That's the way people are. That's really the way people are. You can hate somebody as long as you're not in a foxhole with them. You can tell somebody you're an ugly Muslim, or you're a stupid Pentecostal, or you're a Christian, I don't like you, or you're homosexual, or whatever. Or, PIR, yes. Is that you, my cheerleader over there? PIR, People's Internet Radio. Kiler Davenport said that. But it's easy to love people when you're sitting around at the bar with them or in your comfort zone. But it's really hard to love people when you realize that we're at the end point here. And I'll speak for us in the United States. We've already gone beyond the point of no return. We've gone beyond the point of no return. We've gone beyond the point of stupid. We've gone beyond the point of completely ridiculous. And we're about ready to step over the edge to the event horizon into the abyss, the deep, dark abyss. And there's not going to be any hope for return, especially if we have an EMP that's man-made or solar-powered. We're going to be up a creek without a paddle. We're going to be up a creek without a paddle. It's going to be over. It's going to be done. You know how long it would take us to recover from an EMP, a main direct hit from the middle of the sun? It would take us 10 to 15 to 20 years to recover. People just don't get it because they're one brick short of a full load. They just do not get it. And that's a man-made EMP or a solar EMP or a nuke or a dirty bomb or biological weapon or a chemical weapon or both or all of the above. And this could be a worldwide catastrophic event. I'll leave you all with that tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for inviting me back on, Vin, to People's Internet Radio. And give me a break, folks. You know, I'm back. I'm a little new, a little nervous. Got some chat room here maybe going on or something. What's going on? You play a little music on the end here? Yeah. Well, I love y'all so much. And you know where I'm from, y'all. When I say y'all, you can pretty well pinpoint that on the geography. But I do love y'all, and I thank you, Lorraine. I just thank all of you, okay? I love you, man. I've changed a lot over a year. You can probably figure out I've changed. I'm the same person I was last year. No, I'm not really. I have grown up a little, and that's a good thing. Hell, if we're not growing, we're not going. You know what I mean? If we play, we pay. And if we go, we grow, and that's the way it's got to be. So until next time, this is Kiler Davenport on People's Internet Radio, simulcasting on Alternative Public Radio International. We're going to go to music. Bye-bye.